I want to start off by saying I absolutely love the Apothecary Diaries. The story is amazing, the characters are just so dynamic, even the art is super beautiful. This is one of the animes that I am most excited for each week for a new episode. But I just really felt like episode 20, the most recent episode, was a huge letdown. And I'm going to explain why in this video, but I really want to hear from you and your thoughts on this. Because I was looking online to see if other people shared my opinion, and not very many people did. So I want to know if you think I'm crazy, or if I have, some valid points here. But to fully get the context as to why episode 20 was a letdown, we have to look at episode 19. And in my own personal opinion, I think episode 19 is the best Apothecary Diaries episode, because this was the episode that took everything that was building up in the past 10 episodes or so and had us finally connect the dots as to what was happening. Not only this, there was amazing pacing and there was a good amount of suspense and stuff like that in the episode, and we had really big moments for the characters, such as Mao Mao discovering that the person running the ceremony was Jinshi. And then there was the huge dramatic and emotional ending with him carrying Mao Mao out, her blood dripping down onto the ground. It was just beautiful. And not the fact that she was injured, that wasn't beautiful, just overall with the whole episode, like it was a very sentimental and beautiful scene, not the fact that she got hurt. And just with the way that this episode ended, it was perfectly setting up episode 20 to be this huge, revelation filled and emotional episode that would, be the best episode of the show. Both of these characters have been through a lot throughout this series, and their relationship has gotten better. They very clearly both care about each other and want to see them succeed and, be healthy. And so you would think after witnessing Mao Mao basically save your life, you would think that Jinshi would be, upset, one, that she got injured, two, try to make sure that she's okay and, be by her side and, be extra, careful because he really likes her. And you would think that he would just be somewhat worried, right? But we did not see any of that in episode 20. Episode 20 felt like just another episode. And don't get me wrong, every episode in this show is amazing. They're all great episodes, and episode 20 honestly is probably a step up from the usual episode. But compared to the masterpiece that was episode 19, episode 20 just felt like, an average episode on an average Tuesday. Because aside from the fact that Jinshi let Mao Mao rest in his bed, there was nothing that told Mao Mao that Jinshi cared about her, again, aside from the bed. And it just felt really out of character for Jinshi because he has become so attached to her, to the fact where he was depressed when she left. It just was so weird not seeing him seem to care at all. And I get that, there's social statuses and things like that, but still, he has shown a lot of his true colors and sort of disobeyed things around Mao Mao already. So why wouldn't this be one of those times? And not to mention, the first half of the episode was basically just re-explaining the things that we learned and got pieced together in episode 19, which was good for us to have sort of a refresher on that stuff. And yeah, Jinshi and the other people there needed to learn about it. But why couldn't we have taken even just 1 minute, and had Jinshi be somewhat emotional? Because the series of events that happened was Mao Mao woke up, the servant was like, "Oh good, you're up. Sorry to, say this, but we need you to get dressed and to basically resume your normal activities because we have a lot of questions to ask you." And then she's like, "Okay, sure." Goes out, gets interviewed. No one really is, upset about anything aside from the one guy who's often, depicted as a dog. So they just have her explain, and then Mao Mao's like, "Oh, we should go to this one place to investigate." And then they just go investigate. It turns into a normal episode, basically disregarding what happened in the previous episode. A huge component for this series is the character development between Mao Mao and Jinshi, and we have seen that steadily increase over the course of the episodes, but it felt like it just took a nosedive because there was no connection between them. I remember being so excited at the end of episode 19 because they had everything so perfectly set up for a good interaction between them, and it was just the biggest letdown that I've ever felt. Because I remember I went into episode 20 so excited because episode 19 was such a banger, And then I kept waiting for something to happen, and then nothing happened. They just continued on as normal. To me, episode 20 felt more of like an information episode, which they are done amazingly in this series, don't get me wrong. But when you have an episode like episode 19 that starts off as an information episode and then slowly evolves into more of an emotional episode, especially with a very emotional ending, you sort of want and would expect to have the next episode, the follow-up, at least in the beginning, have some sort of emotional aspect, but there was almost no emotional aspect to episode 20 at all. So I just felt very disappointed and very let down from this episode. And to be fair, I haven't read the manga, or if it's a light novel or whatever, I don't follow any of that, so this may be exactly what they did in that. But even so, I would still be criticizing it because this was set up perfectly for some big event to happen. And in the show's defense as well, maybe they are waiting for this big thing to happen later in the future. But if that was the case, why have such an amazing build-up at episode 19 just to have it immediately fall short, like it's falling off a cliff, and then only to, sort of climb back up the mountain later? Like, you were already on top of the mountain. Don't just do it there. Don't fall down and then have to climb back up. But like I said at the beginning of this video, I really want to hear your thoughts, because maybe I'm the crazy one, and maybe, I shouldn't have been expecting that. But from my many hours of professional anime watching, if I do say so myself, I felt like this episode left a lot to be desired. But yes, please leave your comment below if you agree or disagree with me on this. I'm excited to read what you have to say. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed, you can leave a like and subscribe for more of my bad takes, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.